Welcome to the DCTMA Commuter Corner. My name is Mary Ann Sandone, and I'm here with Lou Savastini, Chair of Bike Montgomery County, an affiliate of the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. How you doing, Lou?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about cycling apps?
Sure. And specifically, we're talking about how they're used for utility cycling and commuting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just share my screen here. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Cycling apps really, they were built initially for the fitness and recreational cyclist in mind, but recently they've become more useful and crossing over into utility cycling and into commuting. For utility cyclists, really what we need to do are answer some of the basic questions and concerns that we have when we're out there. How do I get there? What's the, go down here. Okay. How do I get there easily and safely? What's the weather? Weather is always a big concern when you're commuting. And where do I put my bike once I get there?
Okay. Can you talk about the best apps to answer those questions?
Sure. One that you're probably very familiar with is going to be Google Maps. That's something people use when they're driving all the time. It does have a bit of a bad reputation among cyclists because for a long time, Google Maps was not the best. It would put you out on some main roads where people were not all that comfortable. So in fact, just recently, Google did a new release for cycling. I don't know whether it was specifically for COVID, but people have been cycling a lot more during COVID, so yes. It was a good time to release it. And they've actually incorporated some logic where they estimate how stressful a road is, and they've done a better job of routing on those roads. Okay. Google Maps is also the only app that handles multimodal transportation. So it can map you by, it incorporates any mode of transportation where you can bring your bike on. For example, I just tested it out by mapping from Hoboken to downtown Manhattan. And rather than taking me all the way up to the George Washington Bridge and then back down, it actually says, oh, you bike right to the ferry terminal, get on the ferry, and then you're right in downtown Manhattan. So they've definitely had that somewhat handled. They've also incorporated some live bike share information. Okay. Right now it's been released in 24 different cities. Unfortunately, Philadelphia is not one of them. So hopefully they get Philadelphia on the map and can provide live bike share information for Philadelphia as well. So if you're traveling downtown, you can take the train downtown, get a bike share downtown to finish that last mile. Okay. Another real strong feature of Google Maps is that it's completely free. Some of the other apps are free to start, and then they'll have some premium features, but Google is all free. Another very popular app is Strava, and Strava has 50 million users right now. Yeah, it became popular with cyclists. It's really was geared towards competitive cyclists. Strava allows people to compete on segments. So people would be vying for course records on different segments, and that's how it became big as a recording and social. There's a social media aspect to it that really had it take off.
Lou, is that an international map? Is that an international app?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Strava is in every country. It's
great.
I know it's very big here. I'm not sure exactly where they're headquartered, but
Okay.
if you look at, say, the Schuylkill River Trail, you'll see, you know, 50,000 people have ridden that segment, or even
I
more than.
see.
Uh,
Okay.
so uh,
Good.
so the thing that makes Strava actually somewhat useful for commuter cyclists is that they developed these heat maps based on all of the data that they had been collecting from users. So
Okay.
if you use their routing tool, what they can do is it will only route you on roads where people routinely ride.
Okay.
So it's not perfect, but it is a pretty good estimate of like what's a safe place to ride. The problem is that since it's for competitive cyclists and highly confident cyclists, it may not be the best tool always for a less confident cyclist, someone riding a cargo bike or
Okay.
doing slower utility cycling.
Okay.
Another tool is Ride with GPS. This one's a little more simple. It's got a much easier route builder tool. Strava's is kind of clunky and hard to use. The one on Ride with GPS is actually very easy to do. And it has one feature that Strava doesn't have, is that it will do turn-by-turn directions once you've
Okay.
loaded a route. That is a premium feature that you have to buy. But there's also the ability for clubs and other organizations to maintain a library of routes. So if you want to get to Camden from Philadelphia, what's the best way to get there? And someone will have that. In fact, the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia maintains a route library.
Okay, great. You mentioned weather apps. What do you recommend for that?
Oh, actually, I have one more
Sorry.
navigation app, and in fact, it's one that I just recently started using, and I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
It definitely has by far the easiest route builder, and unlike some of the other apps, you can pick whether you're a road cyclist, a mountain biker, touring, gravel, and it will tailor that route to the type of cycling that you want to do.
Okay.
So if you have a road bike that you use for commuting and you don't want to go across, down a gravel road, it won't take you that way. It'll take you another way. It also has turn-by-turn directions, and it has some really cool premium features that you can set up, like a multi-day tour, and it will automatically break up
Okay.
the route for you. So that's something. It is more expensive. It's I think $30 for the premium package, but it's pretty feature rich.
Okay.
But one drawback about it, and I don't know this for sure because I just started using it. It hasn't been widely adopted here in the U.S. It's a German company and it's very popular in Europe, but they don't have as much of a user base in the U.S. But they do have something interesting, and since you mentioned weather, you can actually set up a course, and another premium feature that they have is that it will tell you what the weather is at different points on your route. So if you're leaving at 10 a.m. and it's a 1 hour commute, it can tell you, oh, it's going to get windy here or it's going to be raining here. That's pretty limited functionality for the average commuting cyclist, but if you're going out for a longer trek, and maybe going up some elevation, it's probably pretty handy. But some of the weather apps that I use, actually, to be honest, I don't think it makes that much of a difference what weather app you use. Really, the built-in weather app on an iPhone or Weather Underground is something I use. Really, what you want to have is just something with a good all-purpose weather map, because if it seems like there's weather coming in, being able to pull up that radar screen is very helpful. But there's another one that I found called Rain Alarm that has a really nice radar view, but can actually just pop up a little alarm when rain is coming. So you can, hustle to where you have to be so you don't get caught in it, or at least, have a pretty good idea before you set out whether you're going to need some rain gear.
Okay, great. Okay, it sounds like a lot of these apps really make commuting by bicycle a lot easier, but I get the impression something's missing. What are these apps missing that's vital to a commuter cyclist?
Well, the thing that's really missing is what do you do when you get there?
Okay.
I've gone downtown and to go to a meeting at a building that I don't know, and I'm looking around for a bike rack, and then wind up just locking up to a sign, which is not ideal. It's not always legal. It's makes your bike conspicuous, so it's more likely to be stolen. And unfortunately, I haven't found a good solution to that, and I think the data just isn't there at this point. I think our best bet is with OpenStreetMaps, where we allow people to update maps. And in OpenStreetMaps, you can actually set locations for bike racks. And some people in my area have started doing that, but the data is still woefully incomplete. There is a couple of apps that you can try, Bike Rack Finder for Android, Bike Rack Locator for Apple. They're worth a try. They'll give you some, but they're far from complete. So I think that's one thing that we really need to work on. And if there's anyone out there who develops apps, here's an opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. Finding a bike rack can be a challenge. Well, thank you for the information. I think our viewers now see the benefits of cycling apps to aid in their commute. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I just want to say that, if anyone has any interest in any of these tools or any questions or comments, these are some great ways to stay in touch. I'm going to put in my plug that, please join the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. They do great work in providing infrastructure, not just in the city, but for all the surrounding counties. Bike Delco is a great organization. They're the Delaware County affiliate. I'm the chair of the Montgomery County affiliate. And you can also follow the coalition on Twitter and on Instagram.
Wonderful. Okay, Lou, well, thank you for joining us for this issue of the DCTMA Commuter Corner.
Thank you.